The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I need another one of these live reads. I've only got two. I need a third one. This is the Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio with Time to Change. And after 11, we've got an hour with the Time to Change out friends, I believe we would say, at Time to Change. And we're talking to Professor Cary Cooper, who's an absolute legend, about mental health and all those kinds of things. Up until then, dear listener, I'm going to say hello, Alan. You're live on Talk Radio.
Evening, Iain.
Good evening, Alan.
Are you and Kath ready for tomorrow night?
Yes, we will not be here. We are going to Leeds tomorrow to go to an awards ceremony where I suspect we shall come home empty-handed. And I'm going to be honest, probably quite bitter.
Is it a black tie event?
No. But I have bought a new suit because now I'm a fat man. None of my suits fit me. So I have a new suit. I have a nice, crisp, clean pink shirt. And I bought some new shoes.
Oh, has Kath got her outfit sorted?
I don't know.
Let's ask her.
I can't because she's gone off to get something.
Oh, and Sammy's manning the phones?
Well, no, she's gone off to... No,
Sammy.
No, she's gone off to get something.
And Sammy's answering the phones?
Well, possibly. And I'm cutting the phones off.
Okay.
There we go. Hello? Yes, who's this on Skype?
He's planted rice in the paddy fields of time.
There we go.
He's seen the sunrise from the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. He's meditated within the ancient walls of Machu Picchu.
It's a nod to the previous presenter. What was on?
Sport and a TVR. He's got a huge bank balance. He could go out with...
This is probably better quality than it was when it was broadcast, because it would have been broadcast on medium wave.
...of his family. He's been invited to the Prime Minister's house for drinks. He's the closest thing on earth.
OK. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. We also have Skype set up. And some of my bosses here, a boss grabbed me earlier on before I had to dash into town on it felt like Challenge Annika when I went into town, because I was on a series of stupid, dumb missions, and when I completed one mission, I had even less time to complete the next. I was a nightmare. So, and because I've got this cold, just sweating absolute buckets, and actually nearly passing out, and then getting involved in a text off where increasingly depressing texts were being sent back and forth. Man alive. But one of my bosses grabbed me today and said, how the hell do you get Skype working in your studio and you're able to broadcast it? And I said, if I tell you that, then you will know how to do it. And if you know how to do it, then you can sack me. So I ain't telling you nothing. It's a trade secret. But it does mean if you're listening to us anywhere around the world, you can Skype. Late Night Alternative, all one word. Last night we were attacked by some Charlie Chans. 4 Charlie Chans attacked us. And apart from their racial language, it was fine. It was a little bit of fun. I'm just going to do something with Periscope so you can hear the calls a bit better. If I switch that round, then you should be able to hear the calls. There we go. Shall we test it? I'm waiting for Sam to put a call through. I'm waiting for Sam to stop talking and just put them straight through. Thank you very much. Hello, Angela.
Good evening, Iain.
Good evening, Angela.
How are you?
I'm shit. If you want to know, I'm shit. Yes,
anyway,
it's funny.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to wish you good luck for tomorrow night, and don't put yourself down. You might win something.
We might win something. We're nominated for something, so we.
Yes.
You never know.
No,
we might win something.
You're not there for a reason, are you?
What is Leeds famous for?
Eh?
What is Leeds, the city that we are going to, famous for?
Yeah. A football club called Leeds.
So let me write this down. Football club. And what was the football club called?
Leeds.
It was called Leeds, was it? Football club called Leeds.
They got a good... I think they've got a good market, so I've been told.
Leeds Market.
Yeah.
Leeds Market. The only thing I can think of is Jimmy Savile.
No, I don't think of him. I don't
Well, I don't mean I obsess about Jimmy Savile, and I'm constantly thinking about Jimmy Savile. What I mean is the only thing I can associate with Leeds is I think Savile came from there.
I don't want me to check it on the internet.
No. I'd prefer it if someone were to phone in and. Here's the thing. I don't want to sound arrogant, Angela, but I'm probably right. I often am.
Yeah, it's me to do.
Yes, well, you yes. Jonathan. Hello, Jonathan.
I'd like to talk about the reconvergence of an alternate reality with our own.
You know what? Yeah, go on. I'm in.
Okay, let me set the scene.
Yes.
It's Christmas 1987.
Okie dokie.
Mastertronic have botched up the release of the Sega Master System.
Yes.
What if Richard Branson never bought out Mastertronic and revived the Master System? What if Mastertronic had gone bankrupt?
Yes.
That would have meant that Sega would have never gained a foothold in Europe.
Yeah.
They would have crashed out of the hardware market and would have had to have done a deal with Nintendo to publish their games on a Nintendo console.
Wowzers.
So in order to get that deal,
yes,
Sega would have to sell Nintendo the Mega Drive technology. And what if instead of...
Okay, that was quite niche. That was even by our niche standards. That was I've got those. Even by our niche standards, that was spectacularly niche, wasn't it? I mean, oh God, I'm so off my face on cough medicine. I don't know what. Honestly, I've just got no idea. Tonight's going to be one of those shows, isn't it, Gatford?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah. Hi.
Yes.
You rang me.
No, you called me and I called you back. Don't try and be clever, mate, because I'm not in the mood.
All right, fair enough. Can I know something famous about Leeds.
Yep.
I went there once, and that's not the famous thing, and I was so nervous about going there for a meeting, I actually threw up in the toilets in the train station.
There we go. Now, do you remember, because we're going to go to that train station, where, which cubicle was it?
Well, if I remember rightly, and I only went to Leeds station twice, once there and once back, it was by the main entrance. I believe there might have been a coffee shop there, but I don't know what brand.
Okay.
And I think there was, I think I went to the disabled one.
Jesus! If they haven't got enough to contend with being disabled, they've got to then go to the lavatory amongst your puke.
Because I was feeling a bit nervous about being at the meeting.
But you're not disabled.
It was just a bigger stool.
Oh, jeez! I don't know about your stools. 03444991000 is the telephone number. You can Skype Late Night Alternative. We are trying to come up with a list of 20 things, 20 interesting things about Leeds that don't include Jimmy Savile. Can we do it? 03444991000 Skype Late Night Alternative. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Experience the unconventional.
Hello.
The unpredictable.
Don't you think that's a bit weird?
And the completely unorthodox.
It was my birthday.
With rule-free Iain Lee.
I was just trying to generate a bit of content.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
Hate alarm clock, hate going to work.
On Talk Radio.
This is the Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio, and with time to change, 1 in 4 of us will fight a mental health problem this year. Having a mate in your corner can make all the difference. Search Time to Change to find out more. Can I just say, I'm getting aggro because I'm not answering the Skype calls quick enough. People are accusing me of cutting people off. The Skype is still kind of a new thing that we're doing with the show, so we don't get many calls on it, but if I'm on the adverts or if I'm taking another call, then I'm probably not going to take you a Skype call. So if it rings out, it's not necessarily me cutting you off. In fact, I don't think I've cut anyone off yet. But it just means I'm busy. So try again. We don't have a system where people can rack up the calls. So just chill. Evening, Victor.
Hi, Ian. Famous people from Leeds. Keith Lemon.
Is he from Leeds or is Lee Francis from Leeds?
Oh, Lee Francis.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Lee Francis.
But is Keith Lemon from Leeds?
Well, they're the same person, aren't they?
Well, yes, but I don't know if you know this. Sometimes when actors play characters, their characters don't come from the same place of birth as the actor.
I love your show.
No, that's not. I've not even started being cute. I'm genuinely asking. I don't know. Is Keith Lemon from Leeds?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, that's a great call. What did I say that was so funny? I genuinely... Seriously, I got such a bad cold. I got a terrible headache, and I've had the worst day. So tonight is going to be one of those shows. Let's try Matt. Good evening, Matt.
Hello, how are you?
Terrible. What do you want?
Leeds.
Yes.
I think, don't quote me on this.
Well,
it's one of the homes to the Royal Armouries in Britain, and it's full of stuff like medieval armour and swords and shields and stuff like that.
Is it, well, how do you know this half fact?
I used to drive past it a bit when I was a kid.
So I can put there's an arsenal there?
Yeah.
Oh, man alive.
It's like the Tower of London, but Yorkshire style.
If you were wearing a suit of armour, like, Sir Lancelot, and someone shot you with, let's say, a Colt 45, shot you in the chest,
yeah.
would the armour stop that bullet?
Oh, I don't know. You'd be bruised, wouldn't you?
Well, it would hurt. I mean, it would hurt. But if you get shot while you're wearing a bulletproof vest, you get a massive welt on your chest.
Yeah.
But I wonder how strong that armour was. Would it protect you from a bullet?
I don't know. It's relative to the whatever's been hit at you in them days, isn't it?
It's relative to whatever's been.
Power and
yeah.
Because musket balls. I don't know. Quite heavy, aren't they?
I imagine, because jousting is made to look very, very glamorous. I bet jousting was a real pain in the backside. Well, not literally the backside, because they were aiming for the front side, but I bet it was a nightmare to point the joust in the right direction and all of that stuff. It must have been. Surely, to win a joust, all you need is a joust. I'm assuming the sticks are called jousts. All you need is a joust that's like 1 inch longer than the other person's joust, don't you? And then if yours is 1 inch longer, you're going to hit them every single time before they do.
How's about you just hold it an inch further forward?
Well, then you've got 2 inches. If we adopt both our methods, then we've got 2 inches.
Good idea, isn't it?
Now, I'm going to... Yeah, go on.
Yeah. No, that'll do. I was going to just say take the horse out, but...
Wow, that's cold. I like that. I'm going to invent a time machine and go back and win Joust Wars. That's what I'm going to do, David.
That'll be a very good idea.
Yep, I'm going to invent a time machine, I'm going to go back and I'm going to win a load of money betting on me in Joust Wars.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Have I ever ridden a horse? Yes. I mean, it can't be that hard. I've ridden a camel, and they're harder.
Well, it's got the humps and the things.
Yeah, but here's the thing with the camel, right? Is the hardest part of the camel is when it gets up and when it gets down. Do you know why?
It flops forward and backwards, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So at one point, you're at a degree where you're facing directly down, because it bends its legs.
Yeah. So I mean, a horse remains straight when you mount it.
Yes.
So,
well, exactly. You need like a stool. Here's the thing: when I rode a camel when I had my lost weekend in Marrakesh, and I've seen camels before, but it's the first time I've really looked at a camel. And their humps are nothing like the humps that we draw in pictures.
How so?
Well, the hump was more like, you sometimes you see old men who were, hunched.
Yeah.
A camel's hump is more like a hunch.
Right.
So it's not that like sort of pyramid shape. It's sort of just like a sort of strange lump.
Do they have, what do you call them?
Penises?
No, half of them do. Does the hump have a rim of hair around it and then it's bald on top, or is that just cartoons?
No, I think you're thinking of coconuts.
Oh, that's the one. Sorry, I got
here's the thing, right? You know that scene in, The Empire Strikes Back? Where... Luke Skywalker is out in the freezing cold and he has to cut that big creature open so he can live inside it to keep warm.
I think that's Bear Grylls.
No. This is also happened in one of the brilliant Star Wars movies. Well, if I was out in the desert on a date with a camel and I was hot and I was thirsty, right, could I cut the top of the camel's hump off and stick a straw in and suck up its watery reserve?
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't actually. It's not like a well. It doesn't just store like a big sack of water.
Oh.
It stores the water in fatty reserves.
So what is that? I thought the hump was the water.
It is, but it's stored in fatty reserves.
Okay, but is the hump the water?
No, it's fatty reserves.
Okay, can you stop saying fatty reserves? What I want to know is, is it worthwhile me cutting off the top of a camel's hump and sticking a straw in?
You'd be better off severing its jugular vein.
Oh wow!
Sucking the blood out.
Gosh. Wowzers.
Hey, you're in Leeds tomorrow?
Yes, I am.
42 miles away, and I'm on the way if you're going up the M1, so if you want to...
unfortunately, David, we're getting the train. So we can wave at you if you want to stand at one of the crappy little stations that we won't be stopping at. We can wave at you, but we won't be making eye contact.
It's 46 minutes away in car. I could meet you in Leeds.
Here we go. Someone sent me in an email about Leeds. It's a fact about Leeds, David. I hadn't heard this before.
Right.
Maybe I don't know if you can back this up or not. This is from Phil. Phil says there was a young man from Leeds. He swallowed a packet of seeds. In less than an hour, his dick was a flower and his arse was covered in weeds. Is that a true story?
I think you've been sent a limerick there.
Yeah, but is it a true story though?
Well, I mean,
did that happen? We don't know the name of the young man. Phil, if you could get back in touch and let us know the name of the young man, that'll be really useful. Thank you.
Did he say Leeds?
Yes.
I heard there was I'm trying to think. I've heard that there was a man from. Oh dear.
Yes.
Sorry,
there was a young man from Japan.
Yep. There was a young woman. No.
If you make them too young, then it becomes inappropriate.
Yeah.
There was a young man from Japan who always said, "Yes, I can." But then when he couldn't, his dick fell off. These are hard to do, aren't they?
Here we are then.
Yep, here we go.
There once was a lass called Louise.
Oh.
Whose vagina...
Okay, thank you so much for calling, David. Let's go to Ben. Good evening, Ben.
Hi, Ian. How you doing? I'm calling from New York.
Hey, Ben from New York City. How's it going?
Good. How's everything in London? You sound very chipper today.
I feel absolutely terrible today, Ben. Funny you should ask, but there you go. There you go.
Well, I didn't really mean it anyway. So
no, I know. I know you didn't. I felt slightly flippant answering it in a serious way, but that's life. That's life.
Okay, let me follow up. We had a call a while back. I was talking to you about Speaker's Corner, Hyde Park, and the goings on. So you said you were going to visit, and you were going to have a...
you had heard that there were... it was overrun by Islamic gentlemen that were threatening and scaring away the other religions. Is that right? Is that a fair summary of what you thought?
Yeah, I would say intimidating, but yeah, that kind of thing. Basically, yeah.
It couldn't be further from the truth. There were Muslims, Jews, and Christians all arguing as aggressively and as verbally violently as possible. Every faith there was those three faiths were present. They were all as gobby as each other. They were all as obnoxious as each other. They were all spouting as much crap as each other. So, no, it has not been overrun by Islamics, the extreme Jewish, the extreme Christians, the extreme Islamics, and the extreme racists were all there in force.
What about the extreme atheists? Have the extreme atheists taken over?
Those guys don't give a stuff. They're too busy at home. It was a Sunday. They were having a roast dinner somewhere. It was thoroughly... I enjoyed it, but it was unpleasant. I got spat at by some racists.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I got spat at by some racists.
The racists I know are all very polite people.
Oh no, these are horrible, and they didn't like me because I questioned them, and I wasn't afraid to question them, and then to annoy them even more, I went round and was offering free hugs to any Muslim I could find, and that they absolutely hated that I would dare to hug a Muslim. Wow, they could not get their heads around that.
Maybe they're not very touchy-feely in their culture.
Of racism. Well, this is what they were arguing about, is that some cultures are too touchy-feely. And so, but what it was is they were arguing that no one talks about Muslim child sex gangs, okay? And that no one talks about it, and that we are all in denial about it, and it is a problem within the Muslim community. Now, every show that I know that speaks about these things has said that the Rotherham sex gang and the other sex gang were predominantly Pakistani Muslims, not exclusively but predominantly. So that it's not as if that's being kept out of the news, and that is atrocious. But then when I said, well, what about white indigenous paedophiles? They said, name one. I said, Jimmy Savile. Oh, Jimmy Savile doesn't count. He's different. What? Hang on a second, I've just named you one. What about all the kids that are getting abused at home by their parents, you know? So it was a fun old argument, Ben.
All right, well, that's good. As long as the people are shouting at each other, that's the custom.
I love it. I bought a book about it, about the Speaker's Corner, and I wanted to make a documentary about it, but you're not really supposed to record anything there, it turns out. So we did record some stuff, and we broadcast it. It'll never get broadcast again, let me tell you that.
On Periscope.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Ben. 03444991000, the late night alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio, and with time to change. 1 in 4 of us will fight a mental health problem this year. Having a mate in your corner can make all the difference. Search Time to Change to find out more.
The late night lip service for lovers, loners, and lounge lizards.
Well, where exactly is your accent from?
The late night alternative with Iain Lee.
I've forgotten your name already. Excuse me.
On Talk Radio.
03444991000. You can Skype Late Night Alternative. It's all one word. We're not here tomorrow. Jamie East is sitting in for me tomorrow. We are going to Leeds. So tonight we're compiling a list of things that Leeds is famous for, apart from Jimmy Savile. So far, we've got football club called Leeds, Leeds Market, Gatford threw up in the disabled toilets, Keith Lemon and Arsenal. That's what we've got. That's it so far. 03444991000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you can Skype a Late Night Alternative. We had some fun last night when we had some kids, I think about 13, 14 years old, they were trying to launch an attack. Well, they weren't trying. They launched an attack on our internet, thinking it would bring down the thinking that it would bring down the station and the show, and it didn't. All it did was it meant that Periscope was a little bit glitchy. Here's the thing I don't get, right? If I had the skills of a hacker, if I had the skills that this young man had, I would go and, like, take on ISIS. Or I would go and take on, I don't know, NASA. Not NASA, they're the good guys. I go and take on ISIS or someone, who was a dick. But, I mean, just attacking a radio station? I mean, really? Really? This guy's just sent me a request. Let's see if we can speak to David, who sent me a contact request. He's got a strong beard in his picture. That much I can tell you. That's a great profile picture. He just sent me a contact request, and now he's not answering. Ah, man. Hey, man. Hey, man, call me. Call me, man. Hit me up. Paul?
Hi, two things to say. Do you know it's International No Beard Day? Is that what you were talking about?
You know that's not what we're talking about.
Well, I didn't know, but it's International No Beard Day.
Have you been listening?
No, I've just...
Right, I'll tell you what, then go and listen to the show, and when you've heard a bit, you can give us a call back,
Well,
yeah?
I'll tell you what...
Yeah, okay, there we go. Have a listen to the show, mate. When you've heard a bit, then you can call in and chip in. Yeah, how does that sound? Yeah, fair enough. Beautiful. Not in the mood tonight. Not in the mood tonight. The shows when I'm feeling lousy, they're normally the best ones. So, tighten your belts. Hold on to your hats, guys. It's gonna be a bumpy, bumpy show. Yes, Paul, have you had a listen?
Yes, okay, I did hear 5 minutes if you had not cut me off as much as I heard.
Yeah. Paul, go and listen to another 5 minutes, then give us a call, yeah?
There was.
Thank you, mate. Oh, and don't call in with your crappy jokes. I think today's an honesty day, isn't it? Today feels like an honesty day. Should we do... Hey, all right, that's what we do. We're doing an honesty day, right? Up until 11, because after 11, we've got time to change. We're going to talk about mental health and stuff like that. But you can go. So, how are we going to do this? Okay, so if you want to call in, there's got a bit... I was going to say you can call in and ask me anything, and I'll be completely honest, but obviously there would have to be parameters. Remember once... I did this feature, and I love this feature. It was inspired by when Brian Wilson phoned me up at home. Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys did this thing after Hurricane Katrina that if you donated $100, he would call you up at home and you could ask him a question. And he would make 3 attempts to call you. And lo and behold, he phoned me up one day. And so I came up with this brilliant feature that was basically that. And what I would do is I'd get people to email me their phone numbers, and I would attempt to call them randomly, not during the show, but sort of just during the day, and we'd record it, and they could ask me one question, and I would answer it honestly. And my 2 favourite questions were, and people would phone up and go, I mean, when Brian Wilson did it to me, because it caught me off guard, and he said, what's the question you'd like to ask? And I just went, what's the favourite album that you've made? What's your favourite album that you've made? Stupid thing. And so quite often I would phone people up at, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they'd be at work, and they'd be so surprised, and they'd ask something similar. So one guy phoned up, they're 2 favourite. I phoned one guy up, and he asked me to list all the drugs I'd taken. And I did, but we had a lot of fun with that one, because what we did, my producer Chris was a very clever man, and a very funny man, and he bleeped out all the drugs, but he made the bleeps really long, and he put in some more bleeps. So the list went on for about 2 minutes of me going, well, I first took bleep, and bleep, bleep, and bleep, and it went on for about 2 minutes of me just, yeah. And the other best one was this guy, and he was a pain in the backside, this caller. He used to, hello, it's the ghost. His name was Hassan. That was it. His name was Hassan. Hello, it's the ghost. It used to really annoy me in the way that some things do. And his question was brilliant. It was brilliant. He said, what's your mobile phone number? And within the rules of the game, I had to give it to him. And I did. And I told him my mobile phone number. Right. And then we did the show that day, and he phoned up the show and he said, Ian, I got your mobile phone number, but I didn't hear the last number. Can you tell me again? I went, no. I have told you. We didn't trick it. I didn't swallow that number. I didn't. He just didn't hear it. And I said, no, I'm not going to. And he said, okay. And then the next day, I got a phone call. And I answered the phone from a number I didn't recognise. I answered the phone and I went, hello? And this person, hello? Is that Ian Lee? And I realised it was Hassan, the ghost. So I went, oh no, I don't know what you're talking about, mate. No, you got the wrong number. Oh, sorry, goodbye. And he put the phone down. And he had my phone number. He had my phone number. I tell you how we'll do it. If you want, and this could get nasty. It's a dangerous game. Truth or dare. It's a dangerous game. This is how we're going to do it. If you want me to tell you exactly what I think about you. Oh, isn't it though, Kath? I'm just in that mood. I'm just in that kind of mood. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. If you want me to tell you what I think about you, not anyone else, don't phone in on anyone else's behalf, then I will. And I'll be honest. And you might not like it. How's about that? Fancy some of that? Fancy some of that for the next 20 minutes? Yeah? It's going to end in a punch-up. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Let's quickly take this Skype, although I suspect. Hello, Johnny.
What's up, Ian?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's Jimmy.
Jimmy?
Jimmy, yeah.
It says
Jimmy
Johnny on the Skype.
It's Jimmy on the Skype.
It says Johnny on the Skype.
I know, but it's Jimmy. When I used to call you before, I call myself Jimmy.
Well, when did you used to call me before? Look at that beard. That's a good beard, man.
I used to call you and do the film reviews, remember?
Oh, that was you, was it? That was years ago.
Yeah, that was on Absolute, I think.
Absolute, yes.
Absolute Radio.
The old one.
Where everybody used to go.
Yes, they did. Don't you know? On Absolute Radio 1. Yeah, great jingles. Yeah. Everybody goes there. The bum. Everybody's going down to there.
Everybody's going down.
Everybody's going down.
Everybody's going down.
Yeah, we're going down.
I wanna go there.
Everybody going down.
Please don't make me go down.
I'm making you go down. Everybody going down to Absolute Radio.
I don't wanna go there anymore on the radio.
Oh yeah, but we gotta go there, 'cause they're gonna play a Billy Idol song.
And I don't wanna go there 'cause they play a crap of music on the radio show.
But the radio does so well 'cause people like crapola.
Do a backflip, then go back on the another radio station.
I'm flipping it back, rewind. I'm leaving Absolute, and I'm listening to Hard FM. I'm listening to Robbie Williams and Emma.
Robbie Williams song make me go so angry. Have a thoracic color of brown brain that.
What are you talking about? Robbie Williams song gives me a boner.
Oh, then you must be a loner.
I'm a loner, that's why I got a boner for Robbie Williams and Toby Anstis. Thanks for the call. 0344 499 1000. This is the Late Night Alternative on Talk Radio.
Moonlit musings from mums, madams, and meat packers.
Oh, never mind, I must have misheard.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
The station's brilliant.
On Talk Radio.
Right. Very, very exciting news. Very exciting news. First track from Nick Knowles' album has dropped. This could potentially be a world premiere. Could potentially be... Oh, jeez, what the hell is that? Could potentially be a world premiere. Nick Knowles. I'm going to let... What is making that noise? Something somewhere is making that noise. It's not you. Is it you? Let me see. What is that? Oh, what is that? What is that? It's not my eyes. What is making that? What? Something on my computer is playing a song. What is it? What is that? I'm going to have to close all my windows. Is it... Right, I'm going to close iTunes. I wonder if it's this. Oh, it's this. Right, it's playing an advert on Spotify. I don't really use Spotify, so I don't know how it works. Get Nigel on, because we'll get him to judge this. This is going to be brilliant. Here we go. All right, this is going to be absolutely flipping brilliant. And if you're calling in, wait, because we got business. Big up yourself, Nigel.
Hello?
By the way, this is the Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio with Time to Change. Big up yourself, Nigel. Big up yourself, Nigel.
Hello?
Yay!
Hi,
Are you knocking one out?
How are you?
Yeah, great.
I was on quick, so I've just rung up. I've got straight through then.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is I'm going to play... Do you know Nick Knowles?
Yeah, on TV.
Yeah.
On TV. Nick, did you do the decorating programme?
That's the fella, yeah.
And he used to do your lottery as well.
Yeah, he looks like an arse that hasn't been wiped properly. Anyway...
Well, he has a beard. He's got a beard, hasn't he?
He's releasing an album, right?
Does he sing as well?
Well, I want to.
I've never heard him sing.
You're going to. So I'm going to play... The single from the album has just dropped. That's street slang for been released in our price.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play it. I'd like you to listen to it, Nigel. Then afterwards, I'd love to get your feedback on it.
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
Sure, yeah, and then I can do some of my own stuff as well, can't I?
Sure,
Yeah.
why not? So you stay there.
I'd have a butcher's then.
Okay, well, that butchers is look. So you have a, listen. Here's Nick Knowles singing Every Kind of People.
Set the fight to make ends meet and keeps a man up on his feet, holding down his job, trying to show he can't be bought. Oh, it takes every kind of people to make what life's about, yeah. Every kind of people to make the world go round. Someone's looking for a lead, and it's duty to a king or to a creed, protecting what he feels is right, fights against wrong with his life. There is no profit in deceit. Honest men know that revenge does not taste sweet. Oh, no matter black or white, each and every man's the same inside. Oh, it takes every kind of people to make what life's about, yeah. Every kind of people to make the world go round. The only goal that could bring a peace to any soul. And every man's the same. He wants the sunshine in his name. Oh, it takes every kind of people to make what life's about, yeah. Every kind of people to make the world go round. Every kind of people to make what life's about. Every kind of people to make the world go round. Every kind of people.
Yeah. Thing is, there are professional singers out there. What do you reckon, Nigel?
Yeah, I thought it was sort of average.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. You know, it was pretty good considering it's him who doesn't sing much.
It was pretty good considering it was him. It was kind of average. Excellent.
What do you think?
It's not what. It doesn't matter what I think because I'd like to introduce you to our special studio guest, Nigel. Would you please welcome Nick Knowles? Good evening, Nick.
Really?
Hello, Ian. Yeah, Nick, you just heard. We just played your song there. Every Kind of People. Why did you choose that to do that as a song? It's a song that means a lot to me, and when I'm doing the decorating, we'll sing it. You just heard what Nigel said. Nigel said it was average.
No, I thought it was brilliant.
You said it was average, Nigel. I'm going to come and smash your face in. I'm going to come and punch your face in. Well, thanks so much for dropping by, Nick. Yeah. Anyway, Nigel, let's hit one of your songs.
It was really good, actually.
You absolute bumlick.
I mean, it's a sort of a country and western style, isn't it?
Well, one syllable of that was true.
Yeah.
I made myself laugh
because it's quite slow singing, like country and western. A lot of songs are slow. Country and western songs are slow.
Yes.
I actually thought it was you singing at first.
Some songs are country and western songs. Some country and western songs are fast.
Oh, of course, yeah. But I mean, you could sing that song quite well, couldn't you?
Oh God, yeah.
Because it's quite an easy tune to pick up.
Yeah.
It's a good tune. A good song. Whoever wrote it, it's a good tune.
Well,
I mean, I might even try and copy it myself.
Yeah. Well, could you do it for us now?
Oh, no, not now. Not until I learn the words, of course. But I could practice it and then do it another night.
Okay, that would be fantastic.
Is it out in the shops now?
It's coming out really soon.
It'll be on iTunes, won't it?
It certainly will be.
So I'll be able to download it on iTunes.
Okay.
What was I going to say?
By the way, on Twitter it's mixed. I've got to say, on Twitter it's mixed. Some people's Margot's saying she loves it. Well, she said it doesn't sound that bad. Some people are saying good stuff. Some people are saying terrible stuff. It's certainly better than an eye for an eye. I would say
it's
that.
It's a bit like the Billy Ray Cyrus sort of thing, isn't it?
Achy Breaky Heart.
But when he first started, it was that sort of sound, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I've got a new drum solo on my Facebook again.
That's great news.
You haven't seen.
That's great news.
Did you want to have a look at it?
Not right now. I'm a bit busy doing a radio show.
Okay, but is the other one still on your Twitter?
Hang on a second. Hello, Dan.
Hello, Ian. Hello, Nigel.
What would you like to say? Do you want to talk to Nigel?
Hello, Dan.
Nigel.
Whereabouts are you situated in the country?
Oh.
About 2 minutes walk from Nick Knowles' vegan restaurant.
Oh, really?
Oh, God.
Where is that, then? In London?
No, he really does. He owns a vegan restaurant 2 minutes
away.
Good
for him.
It's called Oh Joy.
He owns a yacht as well. Listen, I could do... if I had a tenth of his money, what I could do with that, I tell you.
Yeah, he's done pretty well.
What could you do with that?
I'd
put it in water?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'd love a boat. I'd be good on a boat, I think.
What kind of boat?
Hang on, who just had a drum go off then?
I was just testing it.
Oh.
See if it was working.
Still there?
I was actually wanting to do a jingle about myself for a change.
Oh, that's unusual. Dan, we'd like to hear that, wouldn't we?
Did you record it for YouTube?
Yes, I will record. Yep. I've got a tape.
Is it, you know when we did that other song about that other thing?
For the love of God, just get on with it, man.
Is it on YouTube, the last one?
No, just do it. I've got a minute left.
So I make...
someone
here we go. Here we go. It's Nigel from Maidstone. He sings a song or two. Sometimes he plays with his organ as well. He likes to do the show. It's Nigel from Maidstone. He'll have a laugh with you. Sometimes he plays the drums as well and sings along with you. Nigel from Maidstone, yeah. Nigel from Maidstone.
I feel nauseous. That was bloody awful, Nigel. I'm not even joking. Dan, thanks very much for enduring that with me.
That was great quality as well.
Up your bum. It was great quality. This is the Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio with Time to Change. 1 in 4 of us will fight a mental health battle this year, mental health problem this year. Having a mate in your corner can make all the difference. Search Time to Change to find out more, and we will have more on Time to Change coming up in the next hour. 03444991000. Skype Late Night Alternative.
Talk Radio.
Coming up next. Next, in the next hour or so, we will have our regular weekly little chat and little check-in about how you're doing mentally and spiritually, dear listener, as we join up with our friends from Time to Change. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch no bandit run. Keep your foot hard on the pedal, son, never mind them brakes. Let it all hang out, cause we got a run to make. The boys are thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana, and we'll bring it back no matter what it takes. Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go, and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch old bandit run. They say can't be done. We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound up, watch old bandit run. Old Smokey's got them ears on, he's hot on your trail, and he ain't gonna rest till you're in jail. So you got to dodge him, you got to duck him, you gotta keep that diesel trucking. Just put that hammer down and give it hell. Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound up, watch old bandit run.
This is a theme tune. This is a theme tune. Oh man, to be able to play banjo like that, imagine. If I could play banjo like that, I would be playing banjo all the flipping time. All the flipping time. Wouldn't you just? The banjo is one of the hardest things in the world to learn. I bought one and I had about an hour sat with it. Well, I can't do this. It's ridiculous. Dear listener, welcome to the Time to Change Hour on Talk Radio with Time to Change. For the sex, there we go, there's a Freudian slip. For the next 60 minutes. I'm also very, very high on cough medicine, guys. I should stress that. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to be talking about mental health because, as you know, it's something we should all talk about. We'll be discussing the highs and the lows and how having a mate in your corner can make all the difference, even in the workplace. And you'll know that this is, it's not unusual for us to talk about this kind of stuff. You know, we kind of dip in and out of this stuff and have conversations about it. And one of the joys of doing this show is that I feel I can share what's going on with me and talk about, you know, my issues with mental health and my medication and my ups and my downs. Not perhaps as much as we did a few months ago, but I can share that stuff. And what is brilliant is the number of you who see this weird, silly, psychedelic, esoteric left of mainstream late night show as a place where you can come and can kind of share your stuff and let other people know how you're getting on or if you're struggling, if all of this kind of stuff. And while you can call in at any point in the week, right? And I can't stress this enough. I know we're doing this hour once a week. You can call in at any point in the week and say, do you know what? I've just got to talk to you, man. I've not spoken to anyone for 2 days and I'm at my wit's end and I'm going nuts. Or You can phone in at any point and say, do you know what, I've been feeling really, really low, but actually, today I've had my first good day in 6 months, and I can see that there's... You can call in any time and do that, OK? We've got between now and 12, we're calling this the Time to Change hour, but you can call in at any time on any show, even if we're talking the best B-side, or who was the best... Oh, by the way, this is a great phone-in thing. Write this down. Who was the best replacement band member? So someone left and they got someone else in. So all of that, right? You can, I love the clunky gear changes, and we're talking about something silly and stupid and dumb, and then you can phone up and say, actually, do you know what? I feel like I want to die. It's all fine. It's all fine. I've got some tips here. For checking up on your work friends. And it's weird, isn't it? Because, and we've got a brilliant guest coming on in a minute, and we pre-recorded the interview. If you've listened to the show a lot, you'll have heard this guy before. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. So you wanna listen to what this guy's saying. But we've all got friends. I would like to think, I assume. Let me take that back. Some of us have got friends that we can talk to and say, do you know what, man, this is, this divorce is getting me down, or this, whatever is I'm struggling. But it's hard, isn't it, within the workplace, perhaps, to be able to do that. And there have been a couple examples recently of actually slight shifts and slight changes in attitudes towards mental health at work. We mentioned this last week, didn't we? The email where a young woman wrote to her boss and saying, I need to have some time off because, I need to, because of my mental health is struggling. And the boss wrote back saying, thanks for this. Yeah, brilliant. Wonderful. Thanks for asking. This is a great example. I'm more than happy to give you as much time off as you need. Keep in touch. Let us know how it goes. And when you're fighting fit, come back. And I do wonder how many bosses out there would be as prepared to do that. I have got... this isn't a proper job, so I'm always slightly aware that when I talk about my job, those of you that have got real jobs, I don't know, working in factories, digging trenches, working in shops and stuff, me coming in for 3 hours a night and poncing around, I know it's not a proper job. But I've taken a few days off in the past, and I phoned my boss up and said, do you know what? I just can't face coming in. Can I take the rest of the week off just to recharge my batteries? I'm pretty confident that I'll be back on Monday, and I'll be if not fighting fit, I'll be sparring fit. And my boss Denny is brilliant like that. He's absolutely brilliant, and he's like, yeah, sure, fine, not a problem at all. And every now and then, I get the impression he doesn't quite know what to say. So every now and then he'll just, if I'm in the office, he'll just come in and sort of just go, is everything all right, Ian? And I know that is his way of saying, are you on top of things? Are things getting a little bit heavy? Can we do anything? Can we shift anything? So many things are said in this. Are you all right, Ian? And it's brilliant, and I love it. And he's one of the best bosses I've ever had, and I couldn't ask for a nicer bloke. And you should be so lucky to get a boss like that. If you are a boss, by the way, you can call in, right? For this hour, you can call in. I'm gonna do the interview in a minute. If we've got some calls, that's great. But if you're a boss, and you can call in about anything, but I'm gonna kind of just throw out some themes that you might want to kind of get your claws into. Maybe you're a boss and, you've had someone come up to you and say, do you know what? I'm really struggling with life. Can I have a couple of weeks off? Or maybe you're, someone who and you've tried to approach your boss, or you want to approach your boss. To say that, but you just don't feel that you can. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. The very kind people at Time to Change, and boy, oh boy, genuinely, what a thrill to be working with those people. We heard from them last week. What an absolute thrill! I'm flattered and honoured. We have some tips here. 5 tips. For checking up on your work friends. Are you ready? You might think some of these are great. You might think some of these are rubbish. I don't know. If you've got better ones, let me know. Check how they're doing. And it is more, and it's that thing that we talk about, isn't it? It is more than just going, and I've done it tonight. I'm in a terrible mood tonight for all kinds of reasons, right? So I've been a little bit mean when people phone up, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing terribly. But when we ask, hey man, how's things going? We don't, very rarely do we want the actual answer of, I want to die. There's this eternal darkness in my soul that is swallowing me, and I can't even hear my own voice in the void. We go, yeah, no, I'm fine. Tip number 2, grab a cuppa together. The healing power of a cup of tea. That's only a British thing, isn't it? The cup of tea. It's not, because having tea in America is still a novelty. It's coffee. Yeah, but I think it's just a British thing. And it is and it's the cliche, and I love it. I love it. You know, your mum puts the phone down, and you go, Mum, what's wrong? Oh, it's your nan, she's died. I'll put the kettle on. And I love it. I love it. Yeah, get me a cup of tea. Brilliant. Number 3, listen without judging. Number 4, be there if they need you. And 5, find out what support there is at work. When you listen to this chat with Professor Sir Cary Cooper, I should say, he talks about some interesting developments that are happening in the workplace in terms of you get like a first aider who, you know, if you cut your arm or if you have a heart attack, well, as I say, you have a heart attack, you go to the first aider. Hopefully they'll come to you. But he talks about there being kind of mental first aiders as well. I see we've got some calls lined up. That's brilliant. Keep calling 0344 499 1000. We're going to have a break. Then when we come back, I'll set up this interview and you can have a listen to it. I think you're going to enjoy it. Honestly, trust me, this guy, he knows his onions and he's a very clever and a very, very funny man. And I think you're going to enjoy listening to him. This is the Late Night Alternative with me, Iain Lee, on Talk Radio and with Time to Change.
Whispering lunar incantations for cross-parents, cross-dressers.
Yeah, did you know this about me?
And cross-rail workers.
Steel and polycarbonate.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
I've got a very poor internet connection.
On Talk Radio.
So, Professor Sir Cary Cooper, I have you know. He's brilliant. We used to speak to him a lot when we were at Three Counties. He was kind of the local, and we talked to him a lot, and he's brilliant, right? He's really got his head screwed on, and he's very forward-thinking. And, man alive, this conversation takes some unusual twists and turns. I mean, hearing him talk about where he was when Kennedy got shot, I found that fascinating. Stay tuned, you'll enjoy this. You can give us a call while this is going on, and you'll speak to Kath, and she'll take your name and number and give you a call back, at the end of it. So this was me, about 8 o'clock this evening, talking to Professor Sir Cary Cooper, psychologist from the University of Manchester. Cary, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, young man. How are you?
You don't want to know today of all days. I'm having a tough old day, man.
Have you? Well, let's talk about it.
No, we can't.
Come on, that's what I do.
No, really? Is this recording properly, Catherine? Because it sounds very hollow. That one's recording. Hang on a minute. We're having trouble with our microphones.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Hang on.
We can sort it.
That's that one. But this one is, okay, right, hang on. Which side is it? That side. There we go. We're in. We're in. Hey, Cary, nice to talk to you, man. And we're not... normally we talk to you after some hideous thing has happened in the world.
I know.
So it's good that we're not couched in that kind of conversation. How's life going for you, man?
Oh, it's going really good at the moment. Yeah, 1 or 2 problems, which you always get in life. I have 4 kids. I have issues you always have with 1 or 2 of them from time to time. Other than that, fine.
We're doing this thing with Time to Change where we... kind of talking, and it's weird, really, because it means for an hour each week, just for the next few weeks, we have an hour that's dedicated to talking about mental health. And the reason that sits weirdly with me is because we kind of weave it in and out of the conversation on this show naturally anyway. You know, we will have someone will phone up and say... The best ever concert they went to was The Who in 1983. The Who weren't touring in 1983, fact fans, before you start tweeting me. And then the next caller will phone in and say, that their mum's died and they're sat there with a bottle of scotch. And I guess that's quite a rarity still, that a radio show that talks... where talk about depression and mental health and anxiety and all these kind of things and suicidal thoughts is quite conversational. Do you know what I mean? We're getting better at it as a nation, but it's still, it seems a little bit... And now we're going to talk about depression.
I know. Well, you know, it's funny because a lot of people think, for example, Americans are very open. They talk about it all. They're all seeing shrinks.
Yeah.
They all have anxiety or depression. And they're trying to sort their life out and all that kind of stuff. And actually, they're not that open. I think a lot of people aren't. And if you think about it, here's the big one. The big number is 25%. Roughly a quarter of people in every continent of the earth, including Africa, suffer from what we call the common mental disorders of depression, anxiety, and stress.
I'm glad you said including Africa, because quite often you'll see people online going, depression's a myth, right? You go to a village in Africa, you don't see Ethiopians suffering with depression. Yeah, well, good, I'm glad.
I mean,
I'm glad you're saying that. I'm not glad they do, obviously. It's horrendous.
To be honest with you, the irony is we all have that, because this is life. Things happen to us all the time. Sometimes you can't cope with them. Sometimes they're overwhelming. And not only that, very difficult in lots of cultures to talk about it. Some cultures it's easier than others. In Western cultures, it's very difficult for men to talk about their problems. Easier for women to talk about them. But even in the workplace, nobody wants to talk about it, and that's why we have to have time to change. That's why we have to have, all the things, the great things, by the way, the two princes are doing.
Yeah.
Which is opening it up. And when you get people, what we need are more people talking, more people in the public eye who talk about their kind of problems. The more that happens, the more it opens up the opportunities for other people to talk about their problems.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Is there, some people would possibly argue, that maybe now we've gone too much the other way, and we talk about it too much, and that people are too open. What would you say to those criticisms?
Well, I think it depends. I mean, look at your own personal life. I don't know many people who talk about it. I mean, they will talk about it when a circumstance occurs. Do you know what I mean? Some illness in the family, or when somebody is actually in their family suffering, then they'll talk about it a bit. But talking about it about them when they're just suffering day to day and trying to hide it from work because they're frightened to death it will adversely affect their career and all that kind of stuff. No, I don't think people are talking about it that much. I mean, it seems like that's happening only because I think fortuitously the young princes have really made an impact. They've talked about their loss, what they felt about it, how they suffered. And that's made other people talk about it. I mean, in the workplace, there's a guy who was the chief exec of Lloyd's TSB.
Yeah.
And he was the first guy in the finance sector to come out and say, I'm suffering from depression. I need to take time off.
Wow.
And I don't know if you knew this. This is an interesting one. A number of years ago, the Prime Minister of Norway went on television and said, I'm having to take about 6 months off because I'm suffering depression.
No, did he really?
Yeah. Can you imagine Theresa May talking about her mental health problems? Or, by the way, any former prime minister being open and honest about it. Guess what? He got reelected. Isn't that the irony?
Isn't that incredible? Well, we all know that Churchill had his demons.
We do need more conversations. Yeah. You don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
Right? But we need to open ourselves up just so that we can find people at work, in our family, in our neighborhoods who we can talk to when we have problems. Because 1 in 4 of us in a lifetime are going to suffer it. That's just the reality of it.
Here's the thing that proves to me we've got to keep talking about it. It's just the number of people that are dying. The number of I don't know, it's the biggest killer of men between the age of, 25 and 45 or something. But they're also young women.
Suicide.
Suicide. Young women also end their own life. People are killing themselves because of this. It's fatal.
In the workplace, I don't know if you know this, it used to be that sickness absence, the leading cause of sickness absence in the UK workforce and in many of the developed countries in Europe and North America and everything else was what we call musculoskeletal, backache, those kind of things. Actually, now the leading cause is the common mental disorders, depression and anxiety. That is the leading cause of sickness absence throughout the whole of the developed world. And that's a real issue. So that's why businesses are dealing with it and developing kind of well-being programs, trying to and get mental health first aiders. Have you heard about that one?
No, go on.
Okay, so you're in a workplace, right? And we have first aiders, right? We all have first aiders in the workplace in case you have a coronary, physical kind of problems, right? Now what companies are doing is developing what is known as peer-related mental first aiders. So here's what happens. You say to employees, we want to train you to be able to talk to people who you think may have mental health problems, who you actually work with.
Yeah.
Right? In other words, we're going to train you up, and your job is to see if you notice that there are people who are suffering.
Incredible.
But suffering in silence. Go talk to them. Just go talk to them and try to give them advice about where they should go get help. So that's now getting very, very common.
That's amazing. Where do you stand on medication? Because I'm on medication. I'm on my venlafaxine and my mirtazapine, and I am pretty confident that I've only been on this combination for a while. I was on something else before. That it has saved my life. But it's Can I show you the side effects it has, Cary? Would you mind?
No, go ahead.
Right. So I put on a load of weight.
Yeah.
I cannot. Here we go. I cannot ejaculate. I can, but it's really bloody hard to get there. And today I'm having a really stressful time, which I will tell you about off air. But I'm having a really, really stressful time. And just this evening, I was having problems because my bank card had been cancelled by mistake, and then this issue that I'm dealing with was just getting quite nasty. I was involved in quite a nasty exchange of messages, and I really wanted to cry, and I couldn't cry. And I really wanted to, and I could feel it bubbling away.
Yeah.
And a year ago, I'd have been in floods of tears, and I would have felt better for it. But today, I couldn't cry.
So the medication is inhibiting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole purpose of medication, in a way, is to enable you to kind of calm down, deal with your anxiety or your depression, so that you can kind of look at the underlying problems. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
For me, medication's great if it gets you in a state where you can then talk about the underlying issues.
Yeah.
Because the underlying issues are what cause people's problems. It is not just it is biochemical in the sense that the depression, the anxiety, the stress that you experience obviously affects your biochemistry dramatically.
Yep.
Your moods and emotions. But we got to underpin that and say, so what's behind it? Is it a bad marriage? Is it a this? Is it a that? And it might be, and it's usually something you can deal with once you surface it.
Mm.
And I think that's what, for me, I'm not against the medication at all. I mean, if it has bad side effects on you, that's something you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Or you have to think about, and then you go to your GP or a psychiatrist or whoever you're seeing, counseling psychologist or whatever, to try to get it kind of changed so that it doesn't have those kind of negative side effects. However, if it's working for you, then that's great.
Yeah.
But for me, talking therapies are really important.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Here's the thing, and I was seeing the therapist for ages, and I made a decision about 6 months ago to stop, because I wanted to just kind of tackle some stuff on my own.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm a big talker. I will, you sit down next to me on a bus, ask me how I am. I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes telling you everything that is wrong. Why does it work? Why does sitting down, and quite often, with a therapist, you get the therapist hour, which we all know lasts 50 minutes. Yeah. And you can pay quite a lot of money, or if you're lucky enough to get one on the NHS.
Yeah.
But why does sitting down opposite a stranger for 50 minutes talking, why does that work?
Well, it works if you've got the right person talking to you.
Definitely.
In the end, it's about that. It's not about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, or a particular form of psych. It's not, in my view, it's not just the approach that's important. It's the nature of the relationship you have with a trained counselor, almost regardless of what technique they use. Now, CBT, or cognitive behavior therapy, we're using a lot now, or the NHS is, and so on. And the reason they are is because there's more research on its effectiveness, right?
Yeah.
It's because it's a kind of well-structured black box.
Mm.
We know exactly what that means. But if you talk to most psychotherapists or counselors, they'll tell you, I use a little bit of CBT there, and with Iain, I'm going to use a little bit of that, I'm going to use a little bit of that, and a little bit of that. And most of them gauge what your issue is and use an approach that they think would work with you. But it's all about the relationship you have with it. And why it works, if it's done well, is it highlights for you, which you can't see, the issue that may be manifesting the symptoms.
Yeah.
That's all it's about. So the issue may be buried, it may be deep-rooted. In the majority of cases, it's not that deep-rooted. It's not psychoanalytically deep-rooted to your mother or sexuality, or it could be. But it could be. But for a lot of people, they just don't ever reflect on it, and they don't ever drag that stuff up.
Hey, what's the thing with the eyes? Do you know the treatment with the eyes?
No, I don't know the treatment with the eyes.
No, because I had some fella, was a friend of mine, Swarblight, where someone talks to you. Maybe this is quackery. I think this might be quackery, Cary. A therapist talks to you, and then they watch which direction your eyes move in, and that indicates some trauma that you may have been through. Does that sound like quackery to you?
I don't know about that at all.
Right, well, I'm going to
but you know what?
send you on a course.
If you've been through a trauma in childhood, bringing that up is quite useful.
Yeah?
It really does, because then you find ways of kind of dealing with it. You know what I mean? You then can think about, and that's what cognitive behavioral therapy does. It tries to change your behavior once you've identified the underlying source. And that's helpful for all of us. You know, if we have nobody else around. You know, some people naturally have a kind of network of friends or family or whatever, individuals in their lives who they can talk to about these issues. And if they can, and that friend is very sensitive, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a trained counselor, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one, though. It can be tough to bring up with friends, you know, when you're out, I don't know, down the pub or out having a meal or wherever you might, you know, out shopping with your mates or whatever, and you want to try and...
because there's other people usually involved.
Yeah, but you want to...
it's very difficult to do it in front of other people.
But if you want to express that huge lead blanket that's wrapped around you, that darkness of the soul, you know, that stuff that is impossible to kind of put into words, those feelings of bleakness, I can see why some people are apprehensive at sharing that, even with their best mates.
Oh, no, I agree with you. And by the way, men in particular have real trouble surfacing this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why, in a way, funny enough, why they go to pubs. If you think about it, you go to a pub, you get plastered, right?
Yep.
And then you start talking about certain things.
Yep.
And that gives you the excuse the next day or a week later, oh, did I say all that? I don't know. I was too drunk.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And women, the good news about women is they have better coping strategies than men because they have higher EQ, emotional intelligence. What women can do is talk about their feelings, express them, cry. You know what I mean? If you cry, say you're at work and you're a man and something happens to you, you know, you've just been told that, you know, your job's at risk.
Yeah.
Right? A man will, just man it up. Right, and keep his emotions away from that. A woman might cry spontaneously, or something else goes on. A woman cries. In a way, by crying, you're alerting other people to the fact that you're not coping with something, or something's troubling you, and therefore they're going to come and help you and support you. Somebody will. But men, that's why, and men don't do that. So they either don't express their feelings or they bury them, and that's not healthy. And yet, you know, if you talk about mental health, a lot more women will go for counseling than men will.
It's funny, you mentioned start about how maybe we think Americans are better at sharing this stuff. And I remember something that we got from the Americans. I remember in the 70s and the 80s, men didn't hug in this country. They shook hands.
I know.
And they stood awkwardly. And I remember in about 1981, 82, 83, there were loads of sketch shows. I can remember one sketch with Lenny Henry in it. There were loads of sketch shows where they would pretend to... It was like a spoof of an American soap. Yeah. And they would all hug each other. And all the men would be hugging each other. And that's something we've got slightly continental from the French, but I think we've got it more from the Americans. That's a great thing that we can do that. Because people don't really shake hands now. You meet your mates down the pub. And it can be, you know, a fey broadcaster like myself, or it can be a tough bloke down the football.
Yeah.
There's hugs going on.
But remember, also, it was in the 90s, wasn't it, when football players started to cry, Gascoigne.
Yeah.
And I think what also really kind of helped open us up a bit, right? I can say us now. I'm a dual citizen, right?
Yeah, well done.
I've been here for 50 years.
You made the right choice.
Yeah, it's okay. I certainly did. And you know what? When Diana died, that opened up the floodgates.
Yeah.
The emotional floodgates. And then her sons are now carrying that on, if you know what I mean, which is absolutely brilliant. But the fact that when she died, it made, you could see men crying.
Yeah.
Everybody was. It was really, really important that happened, and we're getting more of it and more of it. And I don't think we have too much of it. I don't think you can ever do too much of people expressing feelings. We just need to get feelings out, but you can't do it with everybody. You have to do it with people you trust, who you know will not use it negatively, and who you feel will give you sound advice. Because when you have a problem, you don't want just people to say, "Oh, don't worry about it, it will get better." You actually want people to give you feedback and give you sound options to deal with it.
Yeah. Very quickly, and I will finish me up, because I could chat to you, I know I love this, but you talk about Diana dying. That didn't hit me, right, because I was like a cool 24-year-old, and I observed the whole thing with this kind of just interest, because I found it fascinating. And I never got why people get so upset when celebrities die, until Davy Jones of the Monkees died. And I'm obsessed with the Monkees, Cary. And when he died, I was in pieces. Pieces. And I found it fascinating.
So you identified with him quite strongly in some way.
Yeah, I did, but I was, part of me was crying for him, but I managed, after a while, I took a step back, and I realised, actually, it was a conduit that allowed me to mourn. I was mourning my childhood. I was mourning the fact that at that point I didn't have a good relationship with my dad. There were loads of things that because I could cry about this bloke who I'd only met once for 5 minutes, but actually it was letting loads of other stuff come out. So I get it if people cry because their pop star dies. I get it now.
No, I get it too. And it's funny, because when I was younger, I'm that old that when Kennedy was around, I was a social worker in the city of Los Angeles. I was doing a master's degree at the University of California. And I remember going because I was working in the city of Los Angeles with very deprived population in Watson. It was terrible. Yeah. But I would then rush off to the university to do my courses, right? Because I had to work, because I came from a working class family. Yeah. So I rushed off to the university, but my radio wasn't working in my car, and I didn't hear that Kennedy was assassinated. And I walked into the room, and the professor and all the students were sitting on the floor crying.
Wow.
And that had the most powerful impact on me. And then they told me what happened, and then I started to cry. I mean, how could you not? Yeah. I mean, I felt, again, it's the same thing with you. I identified with him. I had one or two things going on in my life at the time. All of that is very powerful, and it doesn't make any difference what it is, but getting access to your emotions from, is, I think, really important.
Cary, it's fascinating chatting to you. We'll have to meet up and have a coffee at some point and have a face-to-face.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, we'll sort that out. I'll send you a message and we'll sort that out.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Nice one, man. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Take a trip into the alternate reality of late-night radio.
I think I'm in something like The Matrix, and so are you.
The late-night alternative.
Hello.
With Iain Lee.
Is there anybody out there?
On Talk Radio.
Hello.
This is the Late Night Alternative with me, Iain Lee, on Talk Radio with Time to Change. 1 in 4 of us will fight a mental health problem this year. Having a mate in your corner can make all the difference. Search Time to Change to find out more. And, we talk about mental health stuff all the time, and you're welcome to call him whenever you want, he said, untangling a cable. And, you might have heard something in that... He's good, Cary Cooper, isn't he? He's good. He's really good. And you might have heard something in there that doesn't... a seed might have been planted in your head. I can only apologise for planting seeds in your head. And it may take a little while for that to turn into something that you might want to phone in about, or that you might not want to phone in about, but might have an impact on your life, or it might never have an impact on your life. There we go, you see. All bases are covered. 0344 499 1000. We'll keep talking about this specifically until midnight. Then after midnight, we can still talk about it, but we'll also do some more stupid stuff. And remind me, Sam Fox and 7-Up. Sam Fox and 7-Up. It's not a joke. It's not a bad joke. It's two separate things that have popped into my head. Good evening, Will.
Hello.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm quite good, thank you very much.
What you got for us, Will?
Well, I was just wondering about mental health.
Yes.
What's your opinion on it, man?
Good, okay, well done. Thank you, Will. Dear, he takes all sorts. You'd have heard that on Periscope. I'm going to apologise because you may have heard that on the radio as well. I don't think you would have done, but with that slightly dodgy dumb button. I knew he was going to go somewhere, but I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, because I'm a nice guy. Hey, Sam.
Hi, you right?
Yeah, good, thanks, man. What you got?
Well, basically, I've been, struggling with things like anxiety and depression for, since 2013, because my mum passed away. I think I spoke.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You've got the fun stuff going on. I mean, wowzers.
And with anxiety as well, it's the little things, walking down the street, and you have one sort of bad thought, and it's like a domino effect. It triggers loads of other things.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend as well, Charlotte, is going through some similar things to me. No sort of. There's some passings in her life as well, and I think obviously having someone to talk to about is important, but obviously it's weird because I make my YouTube videos talking about mental health and encouraging young people who are younger than me. I'm 21, just telling people to be open about it, and there's no shame in struggling, because everyone struggles at some point in their life. It's just a shame that because of things like social media, we now have a platform where it's amplified. And when I say it's a shame, I mean it's obviously a shame people are suffering, but I just think things like this radio show and other things are really important, so thank you.
Well, yeah, it's. I do think we've come a significant way. Even 5 years back, this kind of stuff was on the fringes of being spoken about. I do wonder personally, and I'm speaking about me, Sam, whether I share more on Twitter than perhaps I should be sharing that stuff with friends and stuff. I haven't. Yeah. Here's the thing: I haven't got many friends. I've got 3 friends. One of them is Kath, and I got 3 friends. Imagine that. And they must get sick to the back teeth of me talking about all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, with Charlotte, I don't really talk about it a lot because, I don't know, it's very, very, very difficult to talk to, really important personal things about someone who you genuinely love, because obviously you don't want to bring them down. And that's why speaking to a stranger sometimes, helps a lot. So, things like Samaritans are really important because they won't judge you. They won't, they don't know you, so they can't judge you,
Gotta love the Samaritans, 116123. Gotta love those guys.
Definitely. That's all I really had to say, but this whole thing is fantastic, so good on you.
Thank you, Sam. Nice to hear your voice, man.
Cheers.
Ta-ta. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. This is the Late Night Alternative on Talk Radio.
The wild man of Late Night Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
This is the Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio with Time to Change. 0344 499 1000. Hello, Charlotte.
Hiya.
Hey, Charlotte, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I've got a stinking cold, man, and it means I can't sleep and I'm all bunged up. But apart from that, I'm on top of the world. What have you got for us?
I was just going to sort of give a little bit on the mental health.
Yeah, go on.
I just wanted to say, it's obviously it's such a difficult thing to talk about with people, and I've been suffering since I was 15. I'm 20 now, and since I was 18, it's been kind of endless trials of different medications and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think I've finally found one which is doing me good, because it's the combination of depression and anxiety, which go hand in hand, are so difficult for each different person to control.
Oh yeah, people have this idea you just walk into the doctors and they give you Prozac and then you feel fine, it doesn't work like that. There is science and there is chemistry involved, and it can be one drug, it can be a combination of drugs. And here's the thing I found out, Charlotte, that sometimes you would think that if you took more of a drug, it would have a more positive impact. But sometimes you need to take less of a drug for it to have a greater impact. It's a weird old chemistry. And I think the doctors and psychiatrists that do that kind of stuff and work that kind of stuff are shamans and magicians. But so are you seeing your GP, or have you got someone? Are you seeing a psychiatrist?
I was seeing a GP who suggested that I should see a psychiatrist because of the long-term kind of battle with it.
Yeah.
For lack of a better phrase. It's just, admittedly, when I was 15, it all started off with being labelled as depression because I an attempted suicide.
Oh, my goodness.
So from that point, it kind of stems from probably way before I was 15.
Yeah.
But as a young person at the time, it was really difficult to talk about with my friends and family and with my teachers and things because they were kind of like, you're young, you don't, what do you have to stress about, you know, what's sort of the issues and stuff. So when I did what I did, it was a real shock to people, and a lot of people called it the typical, like, attention-seeking thing, which I think is the worst kind of stigma that surrounds all of it. But yeah, like, even with, like, in my relationship, I'm very open when it comes to talking about my mental health, but my boyfriend is not. And it's a very strange situation.
Without giving away too much of my own personal life, I have been in a similar situation where I have been open about my stuff, and a partner has not been open about that stuff, and it has been embarrassed about me talking about that stuff, and thinking, you know, but what if people we knew heard you talking like that? So how do you go? By the way, can I just say, just going back to quotes, the other thing, I'm certainly glad that you didn't manage to kill yourself. You know, I'm grateful and appreciative that you are still walking on this earth, however much of a chore and a test of your character it may be. So well done for making it this far, Charlotte. Well done. You've made it. You made it. Well, hopefully you've made it about a quarter of the way through. How's it going so far?
Well, I mean, obviously at the time, I wanted to do it.
Yeah, of course.
But kind of the moment when I woke up in hospital, there was a massive realisation for me that actually I am loved and I am supported, which I just didn't feel 100% up until I actually, you know. I
think 15 is, cause I think 15 was the time I went to the doctors to say, I don't feel right. And I think 15 is such a pivotal time in a person's life, boy or girl, you know, because things are changing. It's so easy to feel isolated at that age. I remember, even though I had loads of friends and I was funny and I was loud, Charlotte, and my, mum and dad were separate. My mum loved me. I felt really alone at the age of 15, really alone. Is that how you felt?
Yes,
yeah.
100%. I was always in a big group of friends, and I was always really loud. I was at parents' evening. It was a matter of, Charlotte's a great student, but Christ, she talks.
Yeah.
And it was always something, and then all of a sudden, it just went from being this kind of loud and bubbly person to being complete introvert. And even when I went to uni, my first few weeks, I was really kind of out there, and you know, it was a new place, it was a new start for me where nobody knew me. And then after a while, it kind of got a little bit too much, and I've actually had to drop out of uni now.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Because it's just, for me, not doable. Like the stressing about things and the anxiety that comes with everything to do with uni, for me, I couldn't cope with it. So from that point, just the tiny things that can happen with you in your life, which can just trigger something instantly. It's incredible, some of the things that you wouldn't even think about.
So how are you doing today? Like this right second now, 10 minutes to midnight on what? I don't even know what day we are. Wednesday night. How are you doing?
Not so great. I have a very kind of important day tomorrow, which the anxiety for that is building up and up and up, and I've been stressing about it all day. Completely prepared for it, and I'm completely kind of ready, but it's just in my mind. I can't let my mind settle.
Yeah.
And I can't accept that I'm ready and I'll be okay with it.
Do you meditate at all?
I have tried.
You can't do it. You can't get the peace, man.
No, not at all.
Because I do it. I don't do it enough. And I do it from time to time, and when I do it does help a lot. And I do it two ways. I'm an old head, Charlotte. I've lived, and years and years ago I learnt transcendental meditation. So I have a mantra, and it's the best thing. And it's like just carrying this thing around in my head, and it means I can sit still for 20 minutes and repeat the mantra, and 20 minutes are gone. But I also use the Headspace app on the phone. That, for me, is it's this very nice gentleman who speaks very softly like this. And I found that wonderful. I know my sister, I'm sure you won't mind me saying this, my sister got me turned on to the Headspace app, and it's worked wonders for her.
It might have to be something that I will consider.
Well, have a look at it.
downloading.
It's free. It's free. It's free to start with, right? And then when it got to the bit we had to pay, I just started the whole thing again. So you don't have to pay. And just try it. It might be for you. It might not be for you. But I'm a great believer in just even if it's just 5 minutes of switching your phone off and lighting a candle and sitting on a chair and doing nothing for 5 minutes. And then getting on with the day. I think I just think that is it's a great tool, Charlotte, that I have incorporated into my life, and I find it very effective. So, it's worth a crack.
Well, I mean, hopefully I'll be able to do things like that. But as I said, at the moment, it's literally just my mind just does not stop. It doesn't rest at all.
Hey, listen, man, call me any time you want. You've made it this far. I'm so glad you didn't die 5 years ago, genuinely, because we wouldn't be having this conversation, and we'd have had 10 minutes of me just rambling to myself, which would have been very, very weird. And I wish you the best of luck with tomorrow. Whatever it is, I hope it goes well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charlotte. Take care.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What a nice person. What's a nice person? And from a nice person to a nasty person is Jerry.
Hello.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Okay.
I think you might have to sing to me tonight, Jerry.
Thank you. Cheers. The brain's a weird thing.
Yeah, yours in particular, mate.
Yeah, it's weird. Chemicals do so much. I just hope, like you say, I've got 3 good friends, and they're 3 really solid friends of it. This place have loads of friends, and so when you get ill, that's what you were saying, your friends disappear and you got nothing to give to them. When
you got ill with Parkinson's, all your friends disappeared? Yeah, same with my mum, with her MS, they all buggered off.
Yeah, but there's nothing to give them. They give. It's just thing. Come in, enter.
Enter!
Here's my. Hang on. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's chocolate.
I had a couple of pieces of chicken, so I just got you a couple of cans.
Okay, thank you.
Jerry's getting a late night delivery.
Thank you.
She don't care. She's got loads to do. Let her get on with her work, Jer.
Take what? Hello?
Hello, I'm Jerry's mate Iain. We're on Talk Radio. He's just phoning up the radio for a natter. How you doing? You all right?
I'm fine, thank you, yeah.
Good.
Sorry.
That's all right, go on, put him back on. He's winding up my listeners, as per usual.
Oh, right, I see, yeah. His usual wind-up self.
Exactly, that's how Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the inside dirt on you, Jerry.
She's a good one.
Well, now because of that, we've only got 30 seconds left, you Muppet.
30 seconds. Chris has to tell a clock on the Ian Lee. Oh, amazing thing called Tony and Lee.
See you later, Jerry. Up your bum. I heard there was a programme on Radio 4 that said that singing can be good for you. Seriously, we've got to market this. Jerry's got Parkinson's, for those who don't know. And some nights we can hear him better than others. But when he sings, We can hear him brilliantly. How's about them? How's about them apples? This is the Late Night Alternative with me, Iain Lee, on Talk Radio with Time to Change. 1 in 4 of us will fight a mental health problem this year. Having a mate in your corner can make all the difference. Go online, search Time to Change to find out more.
Talk Radio.
03444991000 is the phone number. You can still call in about our Time to Change stuff, or you can call in about nonsense. After midnight, remind me, Samantha Fox and 7-Up.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Susie Cincinnati got a groovy little motor car. She lives for the night and her husband's a security guard. Her looks aren't exactly a plus, but it doesn't matter to us, because she knows where it's at and she gets you there in seconds flat. She knows all the honkies and the kids are all home in bed. She'd rather do this than anything else instead. She got the nicotine fit, and before she discovered it, everybody in the backseat suffocated. Whoa, come on, Susie, wake yourself up. Yeah. Number one sinner. Susie Cincinnati, we thought you were a winner. But Susie Cincinnati is number one sinner. Get yourself together. We thought you were a winner. But Susie Cincinnati is number one sinner. Yeah. Susie Cincinnati, we thought you were a winner. But Susie Cincinnati is number one sinner. Whoa! Yeah! She'll always pick you up when the others go and let you down. In a little red cabby, she's scooting all over town. She got a money meter too. Her polished up and shines for you, but it's just for looks, 'cause she'll give the right thing to
There's Dennis wailing in the background. That's Susie Cincinnati, it's the beat. I love that song. I don't think that song has ever been played on the radio. It's a B-side, Beach Boys. I'm going to say 1975. I think it's on the 15 Big Ones album. That's a weird 2012 mix. The original mix, I think, a little bit muddier, but I like it. But there you go. 03444991000. This is the Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio. And, of course, with Time to Change. 03444991000. Skype is open and Skype is booted up. You can Skype me up, guys. Late Night Alternative. Just for the sheer thrill of it, I've opened my DMs. And I just thought I'd open them as a punt. A punt. And nearly everybody is being absolutely delightful. And then David Turner's has sent me one. You're a capital bellend.
Oh.
So that's fun. So I just did. So here's the thing. That was it. So one of the things I learnt from someone asked me my favourite cheese. It's Gouda. But then here we go. This was a message I got. I didn't get my Sam Fox CD box set that I won.
Oh, I sent it.
Oh.
I sent it.
He says could be for two reasons. One, it's still in your car. That's not true. Two, the nuns across the road may have it.
Well, I sent it.
Well, Hounds of Tsar. Tsar. How do you say C-Z-A-R? Because T-Z-A-R is Tsar. Gzar. 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 So you've sent it?
Yeah.
So it's still an Ofcom. That is an actual Ofcom complaint if you want to make it. We couldn't fight that one. Or one prize didn't receive prize. That gets us taken off air.
But then they'll say, what was it? And you'll say, it's a Sam Fox box set. And they went, well.
You want Sam Fox's box?
Because I wrote a funny note to put in it as well.
You want Sam Fox's boxes?
Yeah.
What the hell is this? What are you doing with Sam Fox's boxes? We're due. We were watching... I can't listen when there's a pre-recorded interview. I can't do it. I hate my voice. So I went and watched telly. Absolutely nothing on at this time. A horrible programme about Mick Philpott, that bloke that murdered his kids. 30 seconds of that, I was off. Heartbreaking thing about people needing a council house, different people trying to get council accommodation. But it did remind me, we must be due a 7-Up soon, mustn't we?
Oh, I like those.
We must. I've got the box set.
Have you?
Oh, what, do you want to borrow it? Mate, it's brilliant.
Yes and no, but that does upset me, that.
Oh, no, it's brilliant. I've got the box set, and then since the box set came out, there was another one. Now, the other one happened when I lived in London.
It was a millennium, wasn't it? Weren't they all...
Mate, right, it happens every 7 years. So if there was one
I mean, there was another series of, like, kids...
who cares?
Born in the millennium.
I don't care. It's like the New Monkeys. You know, in the 80s, they made a Monkeys spin-off called The New Monkeys.
No.
Yeah, and it was for crazy guys. And it lasted about 6 episodes because it sucked. In the 80s, there was loads of new things. There was the New Munsters, but I think the Munsters were in it, but the New Monkeys and people. Anyway, I don't care about new 7-Up. I reckon there's got to be a 7-Up next year. And what's great, I mean, it's the best documentary series ever made. The box set is a joy. And do you know what, actually, it's been a while, I might dig out the box set and have that. Because it's all the series building up, except for excludes the last one. But for those who don't know it, it starts with these kids, I'm going to say 1960. They're all 7 years old, and it's that thing, isn't it? If you show me a child at the age of 7, I'll show you the man. And it films them every 7 years, so it catches up with them every 7 years. And what's interesting is some people drop out of it. The guy that goes to work in TV drops out. And some... There was one guy that dropped out of it. There was one guy that dropped out to go and work in TV, and he would get mentioned in the next 2 series, so the next 14 years. Steve chose to become a television executive at Channel 4, but decided not to take part in the show anymore. Mm-hmm. But then there was one guy who just got dropped and never got mentioned. And I wonder...
What happened to him?
He just didn't get mentioned in the next series. The posh guy... the really, really posh guy will only be in it if he can talk about his charity in Bulgaria, which I think is kind of cool. I like that. So they go and film him. It's like an orphanage for Bulgarian kids. And because you watch that, if you're watching that over the years, you think, oh, that guy's a tosser. That guy's a stuck-up. But it turns out he's a really decent bloke, and he runs this Bulgarian charity, and he says, I'll be in your 7-Up. I don't want to, but I'll do it. But you've got to film me with the kids in Bulgaria and mention the charity, which I think is great. And what's interesting is, of course, when it first... I think it's about 1962 it starts. When it starts... Might be 67, actually. Anyway, when it starts, it's a novelty. And through the 60s and the 70s, it's a novelty. Then at the end of the 70s, what we used to call the fly-on-the-wall documentary... starts to take place with a series called, and it's a brilliant series, I don't know if it's on DVD, The Family.
The Family, yeah.
Oh, from Reading. Oh, and the bloke had big sideburns. And what's interesting with The Family, I don't think it's on DVD, and only one episode's on YouTube. What's interesting about The Family is, if I remember this correctly, they're still filming it as it starts to go out. And it's the first ever instance of what we would call it reality TV. It's a fly-on-the-wall documentary, but of celebrity based on reality TV. So I remember in the very, very last episode, they're at Radio 1 or Radio 2 on Jimmy Savile's show, and he's interviewing, and now then the big guests we have got are the family from Reading. Now then, what is it like being a and so the last show, it's television is starting to eat itself, and that whole series, I think it's 2 series, is basically where it's where we are now. That whole series is television in itself. Brilliant programme.
But also, you've got to remember there were limited channels then, so they were properly famous. It was like being a film star.
Oh God, they'd have got 10 million people watching a very poor family in Reading struggling to make ends meet.
When you watch those old documentaries, though, the thing that strikes me is the way they talk. They always talk just a little bit too loud and a little bit too fast. What are you doing then this afternoon, Mother? I'm going to be doing this. So it's like, I don't know whether it's the sound quality or whether the film sped up or what, or whether that's the way people spoke. But, you know, as you watch it develop, and especially 7up, because, you know, now they end up being people who are as old as my parents, they're not still talking like that. It's just the way people spoke back then in the 1960s when they're on television.
I'm trying to find... I bought a brilliant record. This is it. Right. I bought a brilliant record. I did some filming once in a shop, and it was a record shop. And they said, if you go upstairs to the loft... I had an hour to kill this. If you go upstairs to the loft, it's all the stuff we've not had a chance to sort through yet. I was, yes, I'm up there. And I found some treasure, and I bought this record. And I think it's called Children Talking. I haven't got it now. And it is from the 60s, and it's kids being asked, so what is God?
Oh.
Well, I think that God is a man, and he's got he smokes a pipe, doesn't he? It's all that kind of stuff, right? And then I've forgotten about it. It's a great record, and I wish I still had it. And then I forgot about it. Jim, Philip and Paul, I'll come to you in a bit. And then I remembered it the other day. And there was a television series of this thing. This Children Talking. And it's wonderful. It is from, let me see, I've got it here, Children Talking, from the 60s and the 70s. It was a series, right? Let's have a listen to this.
Oh, yeah, I love these.
If you, I don't know how many episodes are on YouTube. You go and look on Children Talking, BBC documentary.
It's worth it for the accents and for the knitwear.
Here we go. Here we go. Children Talking was originally a radio series devised and presented by the pioneering BBC journalist and documentary filmmaker Harold Williamson. In 1967, Children Talking transferred to television and ran until 1971. The following is a compilation from those programmes. The secret of Williamson's rapport with his young subjects was, he said, very simple. I didn't talk to the children. I listened to them. There we go. Listen to this. This is going to be gold. Religion. Here we go.
Is there a heaven?
Yes, I think so. And I think it must be just the right climate with lots of tall trees, and I don't think it's the same colour. It would be very nice there, and I don't think the people are solid. I think they're kind of transparent, and they live in lots of colourful houses with no servants, just to prove that they're self-dependent.
He's about 7, that lad.
There's no such place as heaven or hell, because if there was, why don't we see souls, as they say, rising up to heaven or hell? Because if you're good, people say you go to heaven. If you're bad, you go to hell. But I don't think if you can. Well, I agree with her, because if they say God is all around us, with all these satellites and rockets going up above in the air, then they would have to go through him or something like that. So I don't really believe there is a heaven.
I'm with you, brother.
My favourite Bible story is Noah's Ark.
Can you tell me about it?
Yes. Yes.
What happened?
They built a big boat. Noah built a big boat with all the animals. And when all the animals got in, it started to pour with rain. And it poured and poured for 40 days and 40 nights.
What about Adam and Eve and Noah's Ark and walking on the water, Jesus walking on the water?
I think that science still proves that wrong.
Which one?
Well, that's Adam and Eve, because it says that the world started, I think this is, and that something broke off the planet or something, and it cooled, and there was an atmosphere formed around it, and dust formed on the outside of it, and then life began out of little tiny things.
And there was no Adam and Eve?
No, I just think that was a kind of fiction.
That's quite a controversial thing to say in 1967.
God, yeah.
Because he didn't want all the animals to get flooded away.
Oh, well, how many animals did he put on?
Oh, I don't know. But I know he sent them in by twos.
By twos?
Yes. I don't know how many animals.
Why did he send the animals in by twos?
Because the plank was only big enough.
There we go. The plank was only big enough.
Great accents,
Yeah.
great voices,
Can't
great
get enough of
knitwear, and lovely fringes cut by the mum.
I was going to say the hair. Those are actual bowl cuts.
My grandma did my hair like that once. She said, "I'll cut your fringe for you. You don't need to go to the hairdresser." Flipping it.
Yeah. 0344 499 1000. Philip, Paul, Jim, stay there. Come to you in a bit. This is the Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio and her, Catherine Boyle. And with Time to Change, 1 in 4 of us will fight a mental health problem this year. Having a mate in your corner can make all the difference. Search Time to Change to find out more.
The radio show that knows truth is always stranger than fiction.
Week Monday, I get shoes.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
Because they're too real to be part of my imagination.
On Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000 is the phone number. You can Skype a Late Night Alternative. I've got it open so we can see. Let's go to Jim. Good evening, Jim.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Jim.
Hello. What's the ultimate ploughman's?
Sorry?
I went to a pub.
Yes.
I had like a tour of the Lake District.
Yes.
And I ended up going to pubs and just tasting the different ploughmans at different pubs. And I ended up coming up with the ultimate ploughman's.
Here we go. Let's have it.
So, for me, it was a slice of pork pie, like a elongated slice of it, not like a small
I'm quite late to pork. I had my first pork pie 3 years ago, given to me by the disc jockey Mike Reed. And now I love a pork pie.
Yeah, well, incredible.
Yes.
3 pickled onions.
I don't love the pickled onions so much, but you could have mine.
So this is, then a spoonful of pickle. Sliced ham.
It's a bit tight, isn't it? A spoonful of pickle helps some medicine go down.
Sliced ham.
Yes.
Cheese of 3 different varieties.
Yes.
And some kind of like baked bread that's not a slice of loaf. That's some kind of like cob or all the different words.
Jim, can I stop you for a second and ask you one question?
Yeah.
Why are you describing ploughman's lunches to us?
I don't know. This wasn't the plan.
Thanks very much for calling, Jim.
Sometimes a ploughman pops up and you can't help yourself.
The ploughman's is just an unmade sandwich. That's all it is. It's a sandwich ingredient.
It's a deconstructed sandwich.
Philip!
Hello.
Hello, Philip.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Philip.
I'm just phoning up because I heard you talking about depression earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And I did a quick Google, and it says on Google that in 2006, 31 million antidepressants were handed out.
Here we go, yes. Did it?
In 2016, 65 million antidepressants were handed out, which makes me think that not enough has been done. I mean, it looks like more has been done. When you hand out their antidepressants, it looks as if more's been done by doctors.
Yes.
Try that. That's how most people would see it. But from our point of view, that's a sign that they're just writing people off.
Well, I do wonder. I am, and listen, antidepressants have literally saved my life. I do wonder, because the poor old GPs, it was when we spoke to that young lady, Charlotte, earlier on, I asked if she was seeing a psychiatrist, because I do. And I'm lucky enough that I can afford it, because with a psychiatrist you get half an hour, right, or an hour. With a GP, you've got 10 minutes. You've got 10 minutes at the most. And for anyone, however good they are, to be able to identify the problem and prescribe the right drug in that 10 minutes, I do wonder. I do come down on the side that perhaps antidepressants are perhaps given out a little bit easier than they should be. That there are not enough, how we would say, if you were buying a car, background checks being done. And that's not a criticism of GPs, because they're under an incredible amount of pressure, and they've got to see, you're in, you're out. But I don't think I know that one of here's an interesting thing, Philip. One of the potential side effects of antidepressants is suicidal feelings. And there's a big I can't remember what drug it is, and I don't want to say it to panic people, but there is a drug that is a very popular antidepressant, but it also has quite a spike on the number of people that kill themselves a month into taking it.
Mm-hmm. I know the one you're talking about because I've taken it before myself.
Yep.
When I was younger.
Yep.
But I've not taken antidepressants for 20 years now. You know.
Good for you. Well done.
But I suffer from anxiety.
Yeah.
I've suffered my whole life from mild depression and anxiety. So I suppose.
So how do you deal with it then, Philip?
I just try and distract myself. You know.
Yeah.
Don't think too much.
I'm laughing, but I know what you mean. We think too much. We think too much today.
Aye.
There's too much thinking, and that's why I like meditation, because it's the exact opposite of thinking. But I was going to mention this when to Cary, who we had on earlier, we didn't get round to it. But that whole thing of like your mobile phones and emails and tweets and there's constant stress. Like if you're working, you never leave work. Because your work is now on your phone. Whatever job you do, your work is now on your phone, and you can be contacted all the time. When you went home in the 70s and the 80s, you'd have one phone, and quite often you'd ignore that. If the phone rang after 7:30 in the evening, my mum would refuse to answer it.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
We need to think less.
Aye, well, I mean, the likes of stuff like mindfulness and ever since that's come along, that's helped me a hell of a lot, you know.
Yeah, it's good.
Good stuff. I don't know. I mean, I'm lucky in as much as I've only ever suffered from mild depression. You know what I mean? Because I know you get different types. You know, you get moderate, you get severe.
Yeah.
You know, so I just wanted to phone up and let you know.
Sounds like you're describing the terrorist warning scheme that we have as well. Moderate, severe. And we're all going to go to hell in a handcart. Philip, thank you for that, mate. I appreciate that.
Right.
Cheers. Ta-ta. It sounds silly, doesn't it? We've got to think less, but I totally buy that. We've got to think less. Let's go to Mark. Good evening, Mark.
Hello.
Hello, Mark.
Hello. Walk in.
Get out of here. What is this? Can't do a lock-in tonight, guys, because we've got to be up early tomorrow. So we've got to be back in this building at about 1 o'clock to get the train. By the way, Kath's over there if you want to... there's Kath. There we go. Whose hand is that? It was my hand.
It's your own hand.
Where's the lens?
There.
No, not a lock-in tonight. We can't, guys. We can't. I tell you what. Here's what we do. What are you doing Saturday?
Me?
Yeah.
Don't know why.
If we win tomorrow, we do an all-nighter Friday.
Oh, my God.
We do an all-nighter Friday.
Well, we're not going to win. All right.
Yeah?
All right.
All right, there we go. If we win tomorrow... what are we up for? Google what we're up for, because I want to make it sound proper. My speech will start... Thank you very much indeed.
Don't even start planning a speech, because we're not going to win.
We're gonna win an award for being so good. 'Cause sometimes I said bum on the radio, and I ain't never heard of Jeremy Vine say bum on the radio.
Do you know who's hosting it?
Yes, I do. It's Scott Mills, and if we win, he'll be winning an award in 2 weeks' time.
OK, best speech presenter, non-breakfast.
Best speech presenter. Tell me, who are we up against?
Kathy Fitzgerald, brackets, White Stiletto Productions, BBC Radio 4 World Service. She's proper.
Jeez, hang on. Whoa. We're up against the World Service?
And Radio 4.
Oh, my God. She's doing... Wowzers. OK, all right, fine.
Then there's some chancer called Iain Lee, Talk Radio. Jeremy Vine, BBC Radio 2.
Jeremy Vine. I've never heard him say the word Bell on his show. Yeah, we say it all of the time.
But he did say a rude word to you when you interviewed him.
He said... What did he say?
Can't remember.
I don't know what he said.
It was in the lesser end of the swear
he's
cannon.
He's got a potty mouth.
And he makes truckers cry.
Who else is up for this award?
Mike Sweeney, BBC Radio Manchester. He's a legend.
Mike Sweeney, he is really, really good. Uh-oh, suddenly it don't look like such a Who else are we up?
Radio City's Pete Price, again, another legend.
Everybody loves Pete Price. Here's the thing, I've never heard Pete Price, but I know I'd like him.
Yeah.
Because I've read loads about Pete Price. I think he's on, is he on now? What station is he on?
Radio City.
Radio City in Manchester.
Liverpool,
of course it is, sorry. Yeah, I've never heard him, but I've read so much about him, that, I know I'd like him. I think he's one of those people that's got a good rapport.
And I used, what I learned from Sam Cooke when I
no, hang on.
auditioned anyone.
Whoa!
Stop!
Psychedelic, man. That was me talking to Herb Alpert. Radio City will stop playing after this advertisement for jeans. For jeans.
Top smart jeans and all.
OK, well, it looks like we are not going to be having a lock-in all-nighter on Friday night.
Well, and then there's also, last but not least, Tom Service, BBC Radio 3.
We're going to destroy Radio 3! We are going to service.
Coldplay, Adventure of a Lifetime, right then, early hours
Doesn't sound like I
morning.
imagined
What
he
are
would.
you doing staying up so late? You getting ready for work, or maybe you just got a little bit of insomnia? That was me this morning, literally woke up at like
We're listening
10
to you.
6. Never got back to sleep, so I
Hang
had
on.
like 3 hours sleep.
You can't have insomnia in the morning.
Hang on a minute, you can have insomnia any
So
time.
it's called waking up.
No, hang on a minute. If you can't sleep, if you've got insomnia, you've got it.
Well, at lunchtime, I'm always insomniac.
You're always a dick at lunch.
Oh!
Okay.
It's that kind of bounce that's going to stop us from winning prizes.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not going to win anyway. Let's go to a break.
Kick off your slippers. Don't go to bed. The party is just starting.
You can sleep when you're dead. The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Well, here we go. This is Larry Carrasco, the great Larry Carrasco, father of Dan the DJ.
I wish I had a good surname like Carrasco.
I remember watching 7 Up when I was 11. Fast forward 40 years, and that lovely little boy Bruce, who wanted to be a missionary, ended up teaching my kids maths in St Albans. Wowzers. I love it. I'd get him to sign my copy of the 7 Up box set. I love that box set. It's such a great DVD.
We should chase them all down.
We should chase them all. They'll be doing the promo. I bet next year. I bet next year is the year. This is the Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio with Time to Change. 1 in 4 of us will fight a mental health problem this year. Having a mate in your corner can make all the difference. Go online, search Time to Change to find out more. Hello, Paul.
Good evening, Iain. Good evening, Kath.
Hiya.
Good evening,
I
Paul.
was just on my way over to Hatfields with my hammer and my drill. I was going to put a shelf up for you for all these awards you're going to cop tomorrow.
Well, we're only nominated. What does the award look like? Is it a classy one, or is it one I'm going to give to my kids? My kids have got all my awards. The Sony's in my eldest, the Gillard's in my youngest. The Gillard's is quite scary because it's like a bronze bust of a man's head.
Yes.
And here's what. Indulge me a bit, Paul. We ain't going to win tomorrow, but listen, indulge me a bit, right? One of my proudest moments was about 6 months ago. I was in bed having a doze. And I heard my sons had brought their friends home, and they rushed up to their bedroom to play. And I heard my eldest go, "This is an award my daddy won because he's the best at radio." I thought, yeah, we go. That'll do me. That is better than all the certificates you can get. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was thinking, have you seen what's opened up today in Germany? The first sex doll brothel.
Oh,
my God.
Oh, for goodness sakes, you're joking!
No, tell Caddick he's got to start saving his doll money and get out of there.
His doll money, yeah, exactly.
He's going to spend it all in Dettol wipes going over there.
Here we go. Here we go.
It's called Bar Doll, apparently.
First sex doll-only brothel opens in Germany following success of Austrian outlet as bizarre trend spreads across Europe. Germany's first sex doll-only brothel featuring 11 love dolls has now opened. It's run by a woman, a real-life one.
The smell of burning rubber.
29-year-old Evelyn Schwartz. She's stocked her establishment with 11 5-stone silicone dolls brought from Asia. Schwartz claims she gets visitors from across Germany, including judges.
Well, quelle surprise.
Jeez, I mean, they all have different heights, hair colours and breast sizes. One sex doll is even made to look exactly like a blue-haired Japanese anime character. It's been such a success that the dolls are booked around 12 times a day. Now, here's the thing. Costing €80 an hour. That's 70 quid an hour. Now...
Save up and buy one.
For not much more, surely you can get a real lady.
Yeah, probably, but the doll won't moan at you, I suppose.
Well,
it will if you put the batteries in.
Oh, God.
Really?
Bit of a sick question. Would you have to go bareback with one of them?
Thank you very much indeed. We cut him off there. We don't use that kind of language on here. It's street slang.
Her draining board must be a right sight.
That's not a euphemism. She actually means her draining board.
You can't put those things in the dishwasher. There's the award, look there.
Bizarrely, Schwartz said that the wives of many brothel visitors are reacting with tolerance to their desires and are often seen waiting outside in the car. It's a bit pony, that award, isn't it? It's a bit small. I'll give it to me, Emma. They're waiting outside in the car while their husbands are having sex with a doll. She said, and this is quite... they see it as a toy. Schwartz has only had one bad experience at the brothel so far when an overly excited customer broke Anna, the most popular one in the establishment.
God.
I'd
have to sandblast it after that, flipping heck.
Oh, gosh, no. This is not true. Guess what the name of the top... OK. Right, so there's a brothel... I've got to be careful how I say this. The Kontakthof brothel in the Australian capital of Vienna... Austrian, thank you. Capital of Vienna. This one doll gets more customers than the real prostitutes. Guess what the doll's name is?
Raggedy Ann.
No. It's called Fanny.
Say what you see.
Look, just you go in and go, I want Fanny. Oh, yes, come this way, please.
But which one? But which one?
Why are we speaking in English? Oh, it's because for the joke on the talk radio. Talk radio? Yes, it is in England on the DAB. Oh.
So it should go, I want Fanny. Which one? No, Fanny. Yeah, which one? And so on. Repeat to Fred.
All right, here we go. There's a festival in the city of Linz, an interactive silicone sex doll named Samantha became so popular at breakdance. This is the one... Oh, yeah.
This is the one we know.
Where she got touched up, right? Do you know what the name of the festival is? Ars Electronica. What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? I want Fanny. What?
Yeah, aber which one?
I want some Fanny, please. I've got.
They'd say Fanny.
Fanny. Hey, Alan, how you doing, man?
Good.
Good.
Oh, well, I was just going to say that, I mean, when you win,
yes,
you're going to have a long list of people to thank, surely, for getting you to where you are today.
I was thinking of just thanking myself, but who were you thinking of, Alan?
Well, somebody who's possibly quite near you in the studio at the moment.
Sam? No? Won't even mention him.
Sam and Ed.
Oh, Ed's not getting a mention. He stabbed us in the back.
I'm sure I've forgotten somebody, but I can't quite think.
No, we'll be thanking Alan Caddick, Paul from Stoke Poges, Nigel from Maidstone, and
Miley Cyrus.
That's who we'll be thanking.
Most of all,
yes,
you have to thank all your loyal fans and listeners and nutters like me who ring in.
I'm tempted, if we do win, to make the show no callers. No, and I'll tell you why. Because it proves that... Was it radio personality?
Speech.
speech personality.
Speech
man.
broadcaster.
There we go. Right, fine. So speech. I don't want to mix with the plebs afterwards, and I include you in that, Alan, with minimal respect. So I won't really want to talk to these losers anymore if I win another award.
Oh. So
Sorry,
you will
Alan.
let it change you?
Oh, God, completely. Oh, completely.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the F word on BBC London.
There we go, I've cut him off now. Yeah, the F word was on BBC London
They're
today.
copying us. It'll be on Scott Mills in about 2 weeks.
Man alive. The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio. It's time to change.
Neon lit night talk for torch singers, trolley dollies, and train wrecks like me.
You never know just where the conversation will take you.
What I'm going to say sounds ridiculous.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Right, the next 7-Up is in 2019. Lynn has died. She was the one that worked in the library. And I've just ordered 56-Up, the one from 2012. 43 pence. Come on! 43p.
I thought you were going to say pounds.
No, I know. I looked at it, because I've got it up to 40... I've got the box set up to 49 plus, 49 up. And then it said 56 up, the last one. 43p. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. I'll have that. I can do that in a weekend, that whole series in a weekend. I absolutely flipping love it. I can't find The Family anywhere on for purchasement, which is very disappointing, because I'd be up for some of that. I wonder what I think there's one episode on YouTube. They've got one episode down at the BFI in the viewing gallery. The Family... BBC, 1974. Oh, it's all on YouTube. Oh, it's all on YouTube. The Family's all on YouTube. You are having a laugh. Oh, no.
How long's that train journey tomorrow?
Oh, mate. Here we go. Here we go.
From Reading in Berkshire, at the home of the Wilkins family, we discover what it's like to be a fly on the wall.
The last episode of The Family, a working-class family, in fact, a real family that created extraordinary controversy and press curiosity.
Right. Margaret, I wonder whether... Could I just have one quick word from you? You know, there was a similar experiment done in America, and it ended up in divorce and all the rest of it. Are you worried about this?
No, I'm not worried about it. Everybody keeps asking me the same question.
The American family that had a similar
Here we
thing.
go
Yeah,
again.
I know.
Put your hand up on the line, look. If it doesn't work...
This is it. There's no sleep tonight.
If I could sit with Mum and Dad on either side of me, and then I can sort of move my mic
Oh, you
when
set
I
up
want to talk
that.
to the others. Right. Thank you very much. Oh! That was complete fabrication. She didn't come and ask for my autograph at all.
And,
my boss didn't
with
ask if
your-
I wanted
with
2
Chris?
days off. And that wasn't true either.
Have you felt no emotional stress whatsoever?
No.
Since last October?
No, none at all.
How do you do?
Mrs. Wilkins.
This is the last episode
I think.
of,
You might chat to me while I have my dinner.
where they became celebrities.
Well, before you say it happened in America, I'll tell you it's a change.
I looked it up, yes.
When they did it in America, of course, it did have terrible, disastrous effects.
Here we go again.
Yeah, I love it.
And this is before Wikipedia.
I'm on Wikipedia now. The Family was a 1974 BBC television series made by producer Paul Watson. It was a fly-on-the-wall documentary series seen by many as the precursor to reality television. It was similar to an American documentary which had aired the previous year in 1973. It followed the working-class Wilkins family of 6, led by Margaret and Terry. Gosh. You know all those questions about, in the American family, they divorced.
Did they get divorced?
They got divorced 4 years later,
Oh, no! Oh, Margaret!
They divorced in 1978. Through their daily lives, warts and all, and culminated in the marriage of one of their daughters, which was plagued by fans and paparazzi. The show was the basis for 2 parodies. Monty Python's Flying Circus, in their very last episode, featured a sketch called, oh gosh, The Most Awful Family in Britain, 1974. And Benny Hill did a takeoff called That Family. The Family was revisited in an hour-long special in 1984 subtitled The After Years. Margaret remarried, like her ex-husband, and became Margaret Sainsbury. She died of a heart attack in Berkshire in 2008, age 73. Terry died 31st of October 2016, age 82.
Gosh.
Wowzers. Oh, well, that's this weekend gone. Sorry, kids. Daddy can't play. I'm watching an old documentary from when I was 1 year old. That's what's happening. Hang on a minute. Was it the Q Awards tonight?
Something.
Ed Sheeran's won the best pop star in the world.
It's
Jesus, we are post-Brexit, post-Trump, post-truth, post any colour. The blandest. She played a fiddle in an Irish band. She had a way with an Englishman.
She had a way with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best pop. You are joking.
And he called that song Galway Girl, so everyone got excited thinking it was So I Ask You, Friend.
Yeah.
Which is a belting song.
Yeah.
And then he did that to it.
I might as well have given it to Nick Knowles. Because they're the same thing.
Next year.
I mean, because, listen, pop stars, here's the thing, guys. Your pop star is meant to be... I'm not meant to understand your pop stars because I'm 44, right?
Well, you don't understand Ed Sheeran.
No, but... No, I do understand Ed Sheeran. I do. I get Ed Sheeran. I get it. They're nice melodies, perfectly singable. He seems like a nice lad. Everything a pop star should not be. You're
more of a Bieber man.
No, this is the thing, right? Pop is supposed to be for young people, and us as old farts are supposed to go, ew, what's this bloody racket? Turn that down. It's what my grandparents did with the Beatles. It's the way of the thing. Ed Sheeran is like, he's like wood chip wallpaper. He's like cork in the ceilings. He's pleasant, but I wouldn't want it in my house.
Perfectly serviceable.
It's bland.
Anyway, congratulations, Ed, if you're listening.
Get knotted, Ed. My kid's like you, and that's my failing. That is my failing. Got some good news in the paper. I meant to do this at the start of the show. There's some really good news in the paper, because I've been worried about this. I know you've all been worried about this. A couple filmed romping in a Domino's pizza takeaway walked free from court laughing after avoiding jail. They didn't go to the Domino's shaggers didn't go to jail, which I think is brilliant. And it means that, yes, humping in front of in the counter. Remember, there was the pictures in the paper of she was leaning against the counter and he was behind lifting her skirt up.
Was he?
Yeah. That was a great story.
Did they go large? Do they do that anymore? Do they supersise?
Daniela Hurst, not in Domino's, they don't, you idiot. 29, and Craig Smith, 31, waiting for their stuffed crust dinner. When they were caught on CCTV having sex. Oh, this is interesting, look. The Randy pair were given a 12-month community order and a 23-week curfew to stay at home between 7pm and 7am.
I wonder how they'll pass that time.
That means they can't be trusted to be out at night time without doing it.
But they can get delivered, so win-win. I don't think it was being out late that made him like that, though, was it?
When Smith was told he'd have to complete 200 hours unpaid work, he shouted, "Why do I have to do that extra?" When asked for a comment outside court, he told reporters to get f***ed. In the footage, Hurst performs a sex act on Smith as a delivery driver walks out of the shop.
Gosh.
They were seen having sex while she leaned on the counter.
It's romantic, though, isn't it?
Scott McLaughlin, defending, told Scarborough Magistrates Court, Scarborough. It was one drunken night.
We went for a Chinese, didn't we?
They got silly. There was none of that. No.
Didn't realise that was what went on there.
He said the footage is on the internet and it will be forevermore for their children to see. Oh, is it? Right.
You know what that is? It's the 2017 version of that scene in Lady and the Tramp where they share a spaghetti.
Domino's.
It's Italian food that does it.
Sex. There we go. Domino's sex. There we go.
It's disgusting. Let me have a look.
Here we go. Randy couple caught having sex in Domino's while ordering takeaway. Here we go. So I'll describe it for you guys. They've pixelated it.
Oh, unless that's what he looks like. That's unfortunate.
She's giving him a kiss on his willy. Oh
my God.
There's a bloke there. She's got trousers on as well. It's not a skirt, it's trousers.
Wow.
That is...
Filthy meat.
That is outrageous. That is outrageous behaviour. That is
That's quite antisocial, that.
That is outrageous. Blimey.
They're going to have to Dettol that whole work surface.
Dough balls? Well, at the end of that, I bet he did. The footage is on the internet and it will be forevermore for their children to see. They were in high spirits.
Well,
the store was completely devoid of customers and no one initially noticed or saw what was happening.
Oh, come on.
The footage was posted on social media by a staff member and barmaid. She admitted outraging public decency at a hearing last month. Smith was found guilty of the same offence after a trial, which was held in his absence while he was in jail for other offences. Now, these guys are modern-day Robin Hoods, as far as I'm concerned, and we should be parading them around like heroes they are.
He was giving to the poor.
Yeah. Oh, it's frozen on her kissing his willy. Let's get rid of that. That's truth. Deary me. And some bad news.
Oh.
Crime Watch is coming to an end.
Oh.
They're axing Crime Watch.
Oh, I used to love that.
Oh, Jeremy Vine presents it now. I used to love it when it was Nick Ross, and then I started watching. I watched it a bit when it was Rav and Kirsty, but no.
I did work experience when it was Nick Ross. Yeah.
I used to I mean, it was. I used to watch it and get proper scared by it. It's scarier than a horror film.
Yeah.
Some really vile crimes on there.
Yeah. Well, I helped with the reenactments. I
Yeah.
recruited a lot of my mates to act as dodgy characters in a bar, in a scene in Covent Garden, I seem to remember.
Wait, we've got 2 minutes, and I'm about to ask the biggest question we've ever asked on this. What about that Jill Dando, though? Isn't that weird?
Well, I worked on that reconstruction.
The Jill Dando
Yeah.
reconstruction?
Yeah.
Gosh.
So all the things that we were building are not what ended up going in the case, and I remember thinking, oh, we didn't talk
Do you know
about this.
stuff that was not... OK. What case?
Against
Barry Balsara. Yeah. But he was innocent.
Well, exactly.
He was innocent.
But there was a whole load of stuff that we put in the reenactment that was glossed over. Oh well, no, it's just him. It was. Hang on a minute. We were talking about a Range Rover and
It's
a guy
weird,
at the end of the street.
That poor lad. He went. He went to prison for being a bit odd. Just went to prison for being a bit odd. Poor bloke. But that really is. I mean, and if some of the theories online about what happened, that she was about to expose a VIP paedophile ring and she was hit, that it was Serbian hitmen.
Well, it sounded far-fetched at the time. It doesn't sound so
No,
far-fetched
it doesn't.
now, does it?
It doesn't. Well, don't have nightmares. Sorry, you probably will after that. It's a horrific ending to what's been otherwise a delightful show. We're not here tonight at 10 o'clock. James East is coming in. And James East is coming in and doing his thing. We'll be back on Friday, and if we're victorious, we're having an all-nighter. And if we are not victorious, then we'll be probably slagging off Jeremy Vine a lot. We're going to get Jeremy Vine dolls and burn them in the studio. You have been listening to The Late Night Alternative with me, Iain Lee. Her, Catherine Boyle. Sam has been through there. This is Talk Radio, of course. You can listen on DAB and on the mobile and online. And with our friends, and boy, oh boy, what didn't they prompt a good conversation this evening? Time to change. 1 in 4 of us will fight a mental health problem this year. Having a mate in your corner can make all the difference. Search Time to Change to find out more. Don't forget to go and download the podcast. We will be back on Friday at 10. Until then, from us, ta-ta.